approaching marked location. Warning. Hostiles detected nearby.
Too bad for you. Taking out the target. Open fire! Right turret's on. You think you can take it?
Additional hostiles incoming.
Keep up the pressure! Blowing turret! Back there!
Hostiles incoming.
Lock this area down. Clear out the AO. Gonna blow up the turret. Focus fire now.
Warning. Additional hostiles incoming.
Hang on. Gotta reload. Keep up the pressure! You're on the wrong side.
Warning. Incoming hostiles detected. Alert. Heavily armored hostiles detected.
Going out! Target's behind cover. Tango! Word is out! Turret going out!
Warning. Now entering a contaminated area.
Hey, what is up everyone? The LDB is back at it again, Coming at you today with one of my FIRECREST builds for 1.8.3. I was going to put up one of these videos a few days ago, but I really wanted to get some gameplay after Onslaught ended because I didn't want to show anything with extra modifiers going for status effects, and that's basically what that entire global event did. This is a really strong build. It's super fun to use, so if you enjoy these videos or find them helpful, definitely smash that like button, subscribe for future content, especially if you are new to the channel. Make sure you have that notification bell on, as well as go ahead and drop a comment down there letting me know how you're using FIRECREST in 1.8.3. So let's get into it. Okay, so like I mentioned, I do have more than one FIRECREST build. Today we're just going to be focusing on one of them, and within a couple days here I will release the second one, so stay tuned for that. The first one that we're going to be going over today here is a 10,000 electronics build. This gives you the super skills. It is amazing. Basically just throw your skills out there and let them do the work for you. But if you like to be a little bit more aggressive with your playstyle, I do have a build for you on that. Again, in a couple days this will be out. 6,000 electronics. We got the firearms up a little bit more and the stamina up a little bit. So you can be a little bit more tanky, you can push a little bit more, and with the weapon talents that we have, ferocious, destructive on both weapons, the damage to elites, etc., I'm loving both builds. These are amazing. This one's super strong if you like to be a little bit more of a DPS player, or if you want to just run pure skill power, we got a build for you there. So hopefully one of these will be up your alley and you will find one that works out for you. So let's go on to the skills and talents for the 10,000 electronics build. And here we go. So obviously we are going to be using a flame turret. If you're not using a flame turret with FIRECREST, I don't know what you're doing. But regardless, the damage on this, it says 18,000 hit points. That is incorrect. We're going to be hitting a lot harder than that since we have a lot of damage to elites, enemy armor damage, things like that going on with the build. So that's going to push that damage up a lot. Now the range, we're used to that 12-meter base. Now we got 18.6 meters. So pushing that flame out a little bit farther definitely helps out a lot. Lifetime of 45 seconds, but with one of the talents that I have on, we're going to push that even farther. The health, almost 400,000 hit points. I mean, that's pretty good. It's going to take a little bit for the NPCs to knock that down, and the cooldown is under 30 seconds. We got 27-second cooldown. So overall, I think we're doing pretty good there. Now, as far as your secondary skills go, I'm not really sure what I enjoy more, the airburst mines or the cluster mines. I really have been kind of leaning more towards the cluster mines because they separate, for one, obviously, and seek out multiple targets, but it also applies the bleed effect. So if you burn them with your turret and then you drop your seekers, they go and make them bleed. Now you hit them with 2 status effects and they don't like it at all. A couple bullets and they typically go down. Now, as you can see there, the explosion damage 59,000, but again, with all the damage to elites and enemy armor damage, it's going to be a lot higher than that, and we only have a 16-second cooldown on there. So we're doing pretty good there. Now, as far as the airburst mines go, 55,000 hit points of damage, and again, still 16-second cooldown. So regardless, try them both out. See what works best for you. Again, I just like the cluster mine because it gives them the double status effect. Bleed them and burn them, and then shoot them if you need to. That's how I've been going, and it's been working out awesome. Now, as far as signatures go, I've just been going with a recovery link because I am more or less going solo. When I was in a group, I kept this on because even so in legendaries, I've been seeing a lot of people using tactician, things like that, and every once in a while with them low stamina builds, they needed to get picked up. So I've been running that. Now, you could always run attack link, survivor link if you need to make a run for it, something like that, but I'm just playing it safe, going with the recovery link. So let's go on to the talents. Okay, so as far as talents go, these are pretty interesting here. I have wildfire and shrapnel on at the same time. Applying bleed to any target triggers 30% chance per each target in a 10-meter radius, and we have wildfire applying burn to any target triggers 30% chance per each target in a 10-meter radius. In conjunction with each other, they work out awesome because the turret is going to burn them, like I was saying before, and then your seeker mines, your cluster mines there, are going to apply the bleed effect. So if you can get the bleed to spread as well as the burn to spread at the same time, they don't like it, they don't last long, it works out awesome. Definitely try these two out. I'm telling you, you're going to like it. Now moving on to tech support, pretty straightforward. Kill a hostile while any skill is deployed to extending the active skill's duration by 10%. This is for the flame turret, so when you throw it out there, it's going to be out there for multiple waves during Resistance, or even Legendary, Heroic missions, whatever you're playing. This will help keep it alive a little bit longer. Now, as far as Precision, I would typically have Precision on, and it was hard for me to take it off, but again, with 10,000 electronics, we're really not using our weapon too much, and I would rather have the damage going towards the skills compared to the weapons. And just take note, the skills do not do crits or anything like that, so the headshot of hostile to pulse them is going to be useless. It's not going to help out your Seeker Mines or your flame turret. So just keep that in the back of your head. Now, chain reaction will help out everything. Damage multiple hostiles with an explosion to apply 20% more damage from the blast. So when you let your cluster mines go and there's a couple of guys right next to each other and it hits one of them, it's going to spread to the other one, and there you go, 20% more damage on that. Now, you could always pair that with Demolition Expert if you wanted to take tech support off, kill a hostile with any explosion to increase explosion damage by 20% for 15 seconds. So again, you're going to boost up that damage. I mean, just kind of like what I did with Shrapnel and Wildfire. You pair these two together and it's amazing, because when you drop those Seekers, the first one that it hits, if someone's low on health and the first Seeker hits, this will proc, and then all of the other ones are 20% stronger. And if you get lucky and they're standing together, you damage multiples at one time, another 20%. It's just, it's amazing how many things you could actually use with this build. So hopefully that helped you out with the skills and talents. Let's move on to the build itself and take a look at that. And here it is. So, as you can see, we have a 6-piece classified FIRECREST, nothing crazy here. The electronics, just over 10,000, and for a very good reason. Let's take a look at what we actually get from FIRECREST here. The 2-piece gives you +3 incendiary grenade capacity. So, you get a lot of incendiary grenades. You can just keep chucking those and burn everybody, right? The 3-piece gives you 50% flame turret range and 30% flame turret damage. Awesome. The 4-piece gives you the talent FIRECREST. Your weapon damage is increased by 15% against burning targets. So take note of this. Anybody burning, 15% damage up. And this is very important because when I show you the weapons, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the 5-piece gives you another +1 incendiary grenade capacity and 5% flame turret range and another 20% flame turret damage. So that damage is going through the roof with that turret. Now, the 6-piece gives you improved FIRECREST. Bullets have a 2% chance to cause an enemy to burn. I honestly think it's a little more than 2% because I'm lighting people on fire with my bullets a lot. I mean, I'm not complaining. It is what it is, but either way. Moving on. Burning targets can cause a fiery explosion when killed once every 10 seconds. The agent is immune to their own fiery explosions. The agent is. Your friends are not. So if you're on a team, keep that in the back of your head. NPCs set on fire by your flame turret will burn 25% longer for every 2,000 electronics. 2,000 electronic increments, not 3,000. I wish they would have done this with just about every build. Go with 2,000 increments instead of the 3. So per se, if you're on your tactician build and you hit 10,000 electronics, you're actually going to get a benefit from it. With this build, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, you're at 10,000 electronics, you are going to be lighting them on fire, and they are going to burn 125% longer than they typically would. That is awesome. That is a big thing. They just burn and stand there. Your turret is doing so much damage, and if you drop your Seekers or even take a couple headshots, they don't like it. They go down pretty quick. So let's take a look at the weapons because, like I said, they are very important. My primary that I'm going to be using is a Bullfrog. It has Competent, Talented, and Uncomplicated. Competent weapon damage is increased by 10% 15 seconds after using a skill. So as soon as I set down my turret or I drop my Seekers, whatever, 15% damage up right there. Not mad about it. Talented. Killing a target with this weapon increases skill power by 15% for 20 seconds. The effect does not stack. Killing a new target refreshes the timer. So, even if I have this weapon in my hand and I didn't even fire the weapon, if my flame turret takes somebody out or my Seekers, Talented will be refreshed and just keep on going so you have that increase of skill power. I'm loving it. Now, for these two weapons here, Uncomplicated here, damage is increased by 15%, accuracy and stability mods reduce this bonus. So, again, 15% damage up on top of the 15% damage up that you're getting if they're on fire from the build, and on top of all the damage to elites, things like that. this thing is a shredder. It absolutely works amazing. Which brings me to my secondary weapon, the Urban MDR. I really recommend you use this weapon even if you cannot unlock the talents like I can. I did not get a very good MDR. I have a bunch of them, none of them with the correct talents. I wish I would have got a duplicate, basically competent and talented for the MDR. If you can, you will be way ahead of the game. Now, the reason I use this weapon is obviously for the given talent here, Distracted. Your weapon damage is increased by 18% against targets with status effects. So again, if they're burning, if they're bleeding, anything like that, 18% damage up on top of damage to elites, etc., all that good stuff. These two are amazing, and they're both bullpups. I love it. It's like the bullpup build. I'm loving it. So either way, definitely try out the MDR. 40.4k damage per bullet, again, on top of all the other modifiers that we have. We're hitting a lot harder than 40k per bullet. And in the face, that's definitely going to hurt. And the mods that I'm going to be using for my primary weapon are a magazine with mag size, crit chance, and rate of fire. The optics have crit chance, crit damage, and headshot damage. The muzzle has crit damage, crit chance, and headshot damage. And the underbarrel has crit damage, accuracy, and optimal range. So pretty straightforward. We're going to try to get as much crit chance and damage as possible on the mods, so that will build up as much as possible on top of all the other modifiers that we have going for this build. It's been working out great. So let's take a look at the actual gear pieces themselves. The chest piece here I have rolled for electronics with skill haste, enemy armor damage, and ammo capacity. Now you could go with some exotic damage resilience or health on here, whichever you prefer. I just went with the enemy armor damage just to punch through that armor a little bit faster, and the skill haste just to get the skills back as fast as possible, right? And the mods that I have on here are 2 electronics with 3% skill haste on there. Now, the mask here we have rolled for electronics, and it has skill power and damage to elites, and it has a electronics mod with 4% damage to elites. Now, these are on sale at Dante's Run right now. It's probably only going to be for a couple more days. It doesn't have the highest electronics roll, but it does have that 4% damage to elites. So definitely go and check out Dante's Run. They should be there for a couple more days. So moving on to the knee pads here, we have rolled for electronics with skill power, burn resistance, damage to elites, and shock resistance. So burn and shock overall are what I typically worry about, with some damage to elites on there, and skill power. That's pretty much God roll for me. I'm enjoying those knee pads. And the mod that I have on there, is an electronics with damage to elite mod and a 4% turret damage mod. Now the holster here, we have almost maxed out, 7% skill haste on there, and we have a 4% turret damage mod on there. Now the gloves, these are a little bit different. They're rolled for electronics. We have skill haste, assault rifle damage, and enemy armor damage. Again, I'm more worried about getting my skills back and doing more upfront damage, because we have no crit chance damage, things like that really on this build overall. It's extremely low. Enemy armor damage will definitely help you out a lot more. So moving on to the backpack, we have rolled for electronics with skill power and ammo capacity. And it has a electronics with skill haste on there as well, and 2 4% turret damage mods. So that's about that, guys. Let's take a look at the character sheet and just break that down really quick. We're hitting for 15.4 per bullet with the bullfrog here. Nothing crazy, but again, you got to take into account all the damage to elites, things like that. But like I was saying, the crit chance and damage, not so good. We're basically focusing on our skills to do all the damage for us, and they do not revolve around crit chance or damage at all. They do not crit, so don't worry about that. Now the headshot damage, 87%, so if I smack them in the face, they're not going to like it. I got a little bit of accuracy, like I said, so kind of screwed that up a little bit with the bullfrog there, but I am still at 15%. I thought I went down to 14.5, but all weapon damage bonus is 15% up from the bullfrog right there. 12% assault rifle damage up right there. That's pretty good. Now the damage to elites, 36%, and the enemy armor damage 38%. Those two numbers combined right there, we're doing some damage. Now you could take off a little bit of skill haste and spec more into a damage to elites, but you have to optimize the gear set a little bit more to reach that 10,000 electronics increment. So just keep that in the back of your head. Now skill power 336,000, the skill haste at 34%. I wanted to break 30%, we got to 34, so I'm happy man. Moving on, we have the toughness, not very good. The max health, again, under 200,000, so don't go run up the middle with this build. It's not a good idea. Play it smart, use your skills. Armor, again, we're almost there. We're getting there, not too far off from optimal, completely optimizing it. The health regen, nothing crazy, so on and so forth. Now, again, we have some bleed resistance and we have some shock resistance. If you could get a little bit of exotic damage resilience, that would probably help you out a little bit more, but honestly, I have not been seeing too big of a problem as far as fire or anything like that going on. So really, that's it, guys. That's the build. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I will be doing the 6,000 electronics build within the next couple days here. I just wanted to put this out there first. It's extremely strong. Give it a try. It works out awesome. And I mean, I really recommend it. I love playing with fire, and this build definitely allows you to do so. So if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, definitely smash that like button, subscribe for future content, and drop a comment down there letting everybody know how you're running FIRECREST in 1.8.3. So thanks again for watching, guys. Take it easy. I will see you next time. Later.